Welcome back. So now we're going to be constructing a line parallel to a given line through a point. Right, so in your notes, I'd like you to write this. To construct parallel lines, we are copying an angle. And you might wonder, well, why are we copying an angle? All right, so we construct a congruent angle because if the corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines must be parallel. I'd like you to box this in your notes or highlight or whatever you'd like to do to mark that information off. Right, so in a later lesson, we'll learn how to prove that lines are parallel. One of the ways is called the corresponding angles postulate, and that says that if we have two lines intersected by a third line in such a way that the angles in the same relative position on those lines right there are congruent, then those lines have to be parallel. So if we copy the angle on that line that's intersecting, then we will have parallel lines. Right? So we start off with just a line and a point. And our first step is going to be to draw or use our rulers, our straight edges, to draw a line that's going to intersect the point and the line. I need to move mine. And I'm going to make that a skinnier line. Right, so just like that. Okay, so it has to intersect the point and the line. It doesn't really matter where. Don't make it vertical, make it slant. All right. Technically, you could slant it the other way, but I find that uncomfortable. I find it a little easier to construct it if I'm going to the right. All right, so we have our line. We need to go through the steps to copy an angle. And so the first of our steps is we need an arc, and that arc is formed right at the vertex of that angle that we now have. Right, I need to close my compass a little bit. I think I want to use a different color. So now, when we draw the arc, right, it has to be, I'm going to close it a little bit more, it has to be below that point that we're given. Okay? Because we're going to be drawing the same arc from that point, so it's not going to work if this arc isn't below. Right? So we're going to draw the arc. Make sure you intersect both sides of the angle. You're going to leave the compass exactly the way it was, not change the spread in any way, and just move it to this point that we were given, and you're going to draw a nice big arc. It's got to intersect this line, and you want to make it nice and big because you want to make sure when we draw the next arc it's going to intersect. All right, so now we have to measure across the angle. So when we measure across the angle, you want to measure top down. That'll be much easier when we draw the same arc in the other location. Right? So you need to go top down. Right? So I'm going to change colors so you kind of see that. Now I need to make sure that this arc is going to intersect right where the line and the arc intersect, and that is not the right opening. I need to be open a little bit more. I need to not touch the line. Just need to open that a little bit more. Okay, how about that? That's a little too much. Yeah, it doesn't handle fine movement real well. Come on. I keep missing it. Come on. Right, here the arc. Help if my pen was above the arc. I think that looks pretty good, finally. No! Hazards of technology. There we go. All right, so it intersects where the arc intersects the side of the angle. And we're just going to move the compass to the where the arc intersects that line there from the other arc, and just draw the same arc. Right, nice big arc. All right, so now we'll get out our line tool. And we're going to totally put the line in the wrong spot. That's okay. I need to make this a skinnier line. All right. So this line has to intersect, right, the point that we're given and the two arcs. No, no, no. You try to move something and it decides, no, you really wanted more of me. I just don't think I could possibly move it down. It was in the right location. That would stop happening. Now when I want that to happen, it doesn't. There we go. We're going to take that right there. All right, so now we've constructed two parallel lines. Let's talk about these two parallel lines. All right, we need some points on here. So this can be M. Where these arcs intersect, we'll just call that A. Yeah, it's good. T at that vertex, and H right here, and we need one more point. Actually, let's just put that right there, and we'll call it, well, it's S. There we go. Maths. All right, so I think we have enough points. Let's talk about our angles and our lines. All right, so we have constructed two congruent angles. So angle STH is congruent to angle TMA. Not TMI, but TMA. All right, so those two angles are congruent. And because those two angles are congruent, this little symbol here, that means therefore. We like to take shortcuts in terms of writing words, and sometimes we use symbols. That just means therefore. So therefore, our two lines are parallel. So that would be TH is parallel to MA. And those two lines are the symbol for parallel. All right, so I've said before, if you don't have a compass handy to be able to do the constructions with me, you can always write the information in and then do the constructions in class with me. All right? All right, so we're almost done with this podcast. I want to talk about one more thing. So that angle we copied, what if we copied it again and we copied it over maybe here? What would happen? Well, let's take a look at what would happen on the next page. Right, so over here, we've copied the angle just like we did before, right? So now we have angle B and angle A are congruent to one another, and therefore angle B, well, BD's got a D down below. So BD would be parallel to line AC, okay? And we copied that same angle over at point C. Right, so we copied the angle again. Right, so now that means that angle, and then we have the D up here, right? So the first time we copied the angle, we made AC, we constructed it, so AC would be parallel to BD. And the second time we copied the angle, now AB is parallel to CD. And so now we have, if we copy the angle twice, right, on in two different spots like this, we end up with a parallelogram. I'm not going to ask you to construct this, but I thought we would just look at that. And so that's the end of Parallel Lines podcast. Right, so bye for now.